take a quick look at the Banshee. So it's a Banshee Rune V3, latest model. We've got Fox Float X2 out the back, just the performance. So it's got low speed compression and low speed rebound. It's the newest version of that shock, so that should be good. Had a little bit of trouble equalizing it at the start. The equalization port must have been blocked up. So that took a fair while. I pumped it right up and then let it down and allowed it to start kind of sucking down a touch. And when it sucked down past the equalization point, which is at about 25% on these shocks, I just sucked it back past that point, trying to force air through that equalization port, and eventually I got it through. So that was cool. Fox 36 Grip 2 Performance Elite. So this isn't the newest VVC damper. This is the one with about 25 to 30 clicks of high-speed compression on it. So I'll always count these from all the way open, because the close point doesn't feel established, doesn't feel stand out. It's like it just gets tighter and tighter and tighter, and eventually it's probably closed, but you could put another click or two on it. So go from open because it's a more established, it's a more obvious point. So I'm 6 in from open and 4 in from open on the low speed compression. Just for starters, 87 psi. The spring could do with a service, so I might open them up tonight, give the air spring a service before tomorrow's ride, but for today's ride we'll just ride it as it is. The wheels, these Fun Phantom AM35s, sussed out a few reviews on them. People like them. They seem to be strong, good weight. The rear hub has 102 points of engagement, which is excellent. So if it's reliable, it'll be a great hub. Fun Phantom gets good reviews again, like I said. It's got SRAM code brakes, just code R's, with TRP discs. Now the TRP disc itself is a little bit, how can I describe this? It's a little bit wider. Like that is a little bit wider than the SRAM disc, so the bottom of the disc doesn't get any pad. So it looks like the pad's not aligned, but it is what it is. I've aligned it next to a Avid rotor, and the Avid rotors only come down to, or the SRAM rotors only come down to where that line of wear is. So not a huge issue, but probably not ideal for wear. DHF Max grip up the front, EXO, perfect tyre up the front. Aggressor double down, 2.5, perfect tyre for out the back. It's just the best back tyre. If they made it in a downhill casing, there'd be no reason to run anything else for me, unless it's muddy. The seat's terrible, but we all know that, SDG. Really, really hard. Some people like them, but for me it's not my style. The one up, 180 dropper, a little bit too tall for me. So when the seat's all the way down, it's just ever so slightly higher than I'd like. So I would like to get it lower in here, but that's slammed in this frame. So when it's all the way up, it's a little taller than I'd like as well. It's only 5-10 mil high, but I'd have to go a 150 just so I can get that clearance at the bottom here. Drop that down. Put my bottle cage on it. Put my handlebars on it. Came with an 800 Renthal carbon bar. I'm not big on carbon bars, and the 800 was too wide, so I wasn't going to cut it. They're not my bars. 35mm one-up stem to keep it nice and short, which feels, I don't know if it's too short handling-wise. It feels okay for my reach, like it puts my reach in a good spot for this size bike. It's a large, but not sure if it affects the handling negatively or it's just different. More time will tell. I've just rolled the bar back a touch because the bar roll was a little forward for me compared to what I like. It's good. I've put my pedals on it. It's got 170 cranks. Perfect out the box. He's a tall dude, so good move for him. It's, as you see it, it's 16 kilos exactly, 16.0. It's got a box 1 9-speed gearbox drivetrain. It's not great. It's simple, yes. It's only got 9 gears, so there's a little bit more spread between the gears, I guess. but it's really heavy under thumb to push up through the gears. And I've tried to troubleshoot it. I've spent a fair bit of time troubleshooting it, but that shifter, it's only a single banger shifter, so you only go one at a time. But I don't know if I can give you a good portrayal of how this feels, but when you load it, you really got to push. You got to put a heap of load on your thumb for every gear shift, and the further up the cassette it gets, the harder it is. It's really, really stiff, and I think it's just because of the way that this whole mechanism works. It's just really, really hard to push. Like where this, you got the cable where it's got to pull, that takes a lot of force to make that. It takes a lot of force to get the derailleur moving. It's really heavy. I'd never run something like this, no way. It's just way too hard on the thumb. Like my thumb's sore from just yesterday's ride. Just the thumb joint. I played around with it. It was worse. I got it running much better. But riding it like as it is, which is much better, is still terrible. It's still really, really heavy under thumb. So I'm pretty sure they've got a different shifter. So that'd be worth trying, but for me, I'd just go to a Dior. If you're looking for a cheap drivetrain, I'd just go to a Dior 12-speed or 11-speed with a clutch, or an XT. Old XT 11-speed is really crisp as well. So that's the rundown of the bike. It feels killer to ride. I've only done like a run and a half, call it 2 runs on it so far. I'm going to go out to some different trails today, set that rear shock up a little better, a little bit softer, and see if I can get the fork feeling good, and give it a real nudge. Try and expose some weakness or praise some more strengths. It feels really good.
So I've been back and forth with some different setups. I've gone no token and back to a token or spacer in that rear shock. Pretty happy with the spacer. 6 clicks of low speed compression from open, and the rebound slow but not slow. And it feels pretty good. Oh, it feels real good actually. Oh, big flat land on that. Doesn't matter. Oh, a little bit too much on that turn. A little bit too much sauce on it. Doesn't matter. Fork could be improved, but it's not terrible. Oh, that back end's good with that slower rebound. I was just finding it a little bit choppy before. Whoa! Wash the front a bit then. Still a bit choppy in the back. I'm thinking maybe I can drop a little bit of pressure, but it's reasonable. Maybe another click of rebound off, like slower. Could be the go. So we're not set up yet, but it's definitely fun, and it's definitely a stiff, hard-hitting bike. I need to get a little better setup out of that rear shock, but I reckon that's pretty close. That felt quite good, except for the chop. Maybe I don't want to back off too much on that compression. I think we're pretty good. Maybe 5 clicks of compression on that rear might be cool.